Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will focus on salt. Today we will master a few techniques which include preparation of salt, which is the insoluble salt, soluble salt, and soluble special salt, sodium, potassium, and ammonium salt. And second part, we will do what is the anhydrous and hydrous salt. Before we go to the three ways to prepare different types of salt, we need to know which salt are insoluble and which one is soluble because they are using different preparation method. First, we talk about carbonate. Almost all carbonate are insoluble except these three situations, always soluble. Other than that, non-soluble. For chloride, chlorine, please agree, means Pb and Ag. These two are special, they are insoluble. So lead chloride, silver chloride, not soluble. Other chloride are soluble. Then how about sulfate? Sulfate also have three special things that is insoluble, which is sulfate, please BZ, which is Pb, Ba, Ca. Lead sulfate, barium sulfate, calcium sulfate. Then other sulfates are soluble. Then nitrate, all soluble. Do not need to memorize everything, just remember this part, this part, this part. Then we go to preparation of salt. To prepare three different types of salt, we have different methods. So you just remember, if you want to produce insoluble salt, the two reactants must be soluble. If you want soluble salt, then one of the reactants must be solid, and then the solid must be excess. Then these three situations, we are unable to have any solid raw material, then we have no choice to do titration, which we need to use the indicator to confirm what is the amount of volume that we need to add in to do the neutralization. So we'll go one by one. Okay, let's see how to prepare the insoluble salt. We must use two soluble salts, must be aqueous. So at last, I will form this solid, the only solid. Then this aqueous and this aqueous, we can easily remove it by using filtration. And then the solid that I want will be easily gathered here. So aqueous can remove. The residue is the insoluble salt that I want. After this, I must wash the residue with distilled water. Why? Because even though we successfully filter it out, but they might have some Ag nitrate, sodium chloride, or sodium nitrate that is stick on my AgCl. So that's why I wash it by using distilled water. So make sure all the other salts are removed. Then at last, I dry the insoluble salt that I want by using filter paper. Then we'll get the insoluble salt that I want. So let's look at the question. The first question asks which of the following will form precipitate. Precipitate means solid insoluble salt, so must be two aqueous. So aqueous, dilute aqueous and aqueous. Solid and solid is confirmed not an option. Then we need to check these two. So these two will form copper carbonate plus sodium sulfate. So we can confirm sulfate Pb, BaCa are solid, so we can confirm this AQ. And then how about this? This will form sodium sulfate, which is confirmed AQ, and then H2O. So the product that is formed is all soluble in water, so confirm not. All carbonate except NaKN ammonium is soluble, so we can confirm answer is A. Lead sulfate, PbSO4, is an insoluble salt, which reaction produces a mixture from lead sulfate is obtained by filtration. So to form insoluble salt, we must have two soluble salts. So adding solid is not an option. Solid is not an option. Metallic lead also not an option. So only aqueous add to acid is possible. Which method is used to produce insoluble salts? Two soluble salts, agree or not? So if you add insoluble base, then cannot. Metal is a solid, also cannot. Then two aqueous solution, yes. Titration is to produce soluble salts that's a special NaKNH4. Which type of reaction is represented by the equation below? AQ, solid, AQ. So when we form a solid, this is a precipitation. Next, copper carbonate is formed when aqueous sodium carbonate is added to aqueous copper nitrate, which is aqueous forms solid. How a pure insoluble salt is obtained? So we know we always start from filtration. After we get the solid, we need to wash with distilled water first. After we ensure all the other salts are removed, then only we dry it. Okay, so answer is D. So this question is asking, preparing an insoluble lead chloride by mixing two aqueous solution salts to identify the two soluble salts. So we need to form these two, means that we must have some Pb and some chloride that is soluble. Lead is always insoluble because lead chloride is insoluble, lead sulfate also insoluble. But we know nitrate, all of them are soluble, so we just choose nitrate. And then which chloride is soluble? Let's say sodium chloride. Then we name them. This is lead nitrate. This is sodium chloride. Done. Okay, write an ionic equation to form lead chloride. So precipitation is very easy. It will form PbCl. Which ion form this? Of course, is Pb2 plus. Cl minus will form this PbCl2. Okay, and then they also request for state. We know this precipitation, so lead chloride is solid, and then the two reactant must be aqueous. Next, they ask you to list the step the student should take in preparing a pure sample of this from the mixture of the beaker. First, we filter. Second, the residue, we need to wash with distilled water. And then at last, we need to dry it between filter paper. 3 marks. Next, the questions for 3 reactions are shown. Which reaction are suitable to making salt by precipitation means form solid? So aqueous form solid, okay. Aqueous form solid, okay. Solid start no, so answer is just 1 and 2. Which process is not used in preparation of an insoluble salt? We are using filtration, washing, and drying, so no crystallization. Next, go to the soluble salt. So soluble salt must use acid plus an excess solid. Why we need to do so? Because this is the salt that I want. I need to make sure I remove this too. The gas is confirmed we'll remove. So how can we remove zinc and HCl? HCl is the hardest one to remove because both of them AQ. So we need to ensure all HCl are used up. That's why we need to have excess solid. When we have excess solid, we can ensure all HCl use up. After we confirm HCl use up, then we need to remove zinc, the solid. This is easy, we just filter it. The excess solid, we can filter it out easily. And then the filtrate would be my soluble salt. Then I just evaporate the soluble salt, and then at last I dry it. Then we can get my soluble salt. So that's why all soluble salts, we must have excess solid as our raw material. This excess solid can be metal-based or carbonate metal, as we learned in acid and base, because all these 3 can react with acid, and all these 3 are solid. Let's see the first question. A student wants to make hydrated iron sulfate crystals, AQ, by excess iron carbonate, a solid, with acid. So obviously this is to prepare a soluble salt. So they say add small amount of iron carbonate to the dilute sulfuric acid in beaker until it is in excess. So we need to ensure this is in excess, because we want to ensure that this is used up, because we can't allow too aqueous, because this will affect the purities of my salt. So we need to ensure this is used up. Then we filter the mixture, so to remove this. So we successfully remove this too. And then heat the filtrate until saturation point allowed to cool. This is to remove the water. Once cool, pour away the remaining solution. Dry the crystal between filter paper so we can get the dry, pure iron sulfate. The CO2 will release as a gas, so no need care on that. First question, why must the iron carbonate be added is excess? To ensure all acids react, so it won't affect my purities of iron sulfate aqueous. Step 2 observation in step 2 to show that iron carbonate is in excess. So if this is in excess, means that this is already fully used up. So first thing we can see, no more carbon dioxide form. The observation you should write, no more fizzing or no more efflorescence. Then since this solid is in excess, so it can't react anymore, so the solid remain. 3. Describe what should be done during step 3. to ensure that it's maximum yield of crystal. So even though we filter, this contain the salt that I want, but some of the salt might stick at my residue there. So that's why I need to wash with distilled water to ensure all the soluble salts that I want is falling to here. Rinse the residue. Next, a saturated solution is formed. Okay, so it's a definition question. Just a solution that can dissolve no more solute. If we continue to add the solute, it cannot dissolve anymore. But you need to know this situation will affect by the temperature. So if we increase the temperature, we can continue to add in. So that's why we need to fix at a specific temperature. 5. Name a different component that could be used instead of iron carbonate to prepare hydrated iron sulfate crystal to form dilute sulfuric acid. So we need to have another solid. So we know that there are 3 types of solid we can use. Other than carbonate metal, we can use metal and we can use the base. But here they say about compounds, so we cannot use the metal because metal is an element. So we must use the base. For example, we use iron 2 oxide. Okay, next question. They want to react insoluble carbonate and acids, which given you the carbonate and acids, then they will form a soluble salt. They ask you how to produce a pure sample of the zinc sulfate aqueous. So you must ensure you tell me all the practical details and make sure that all the acids are reacted. We know we use excess and then a chemical equation. So let's go. First, we add zinc carbonate to the sulfuric acid. We need to explain about excess, so you need to say the practical details until either you can say no more fizzing or solid remain. So after we ensure this is excess, then we can remove the excess solid by doing filtration. So after filter, we'll get the filtrate, then we can evaporate the filtrate to form dry crystal. Then we can get the chemical equation for this. Zinc will react with sulfate. Carbonate confirm form CO2 and then left H2 and O is water. So then you can gain these 5 marks. So we go to the third type of salt preparation, which is producing sodium, potassium, and ammonium salt. Because all these 3 salts do not have solid state, they're always soluble, so it's impossible to use filtration method. That's why we can only use acid plus alkali, and then it will form an aqueous state. And can you see all of them AQ, 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 L? So we need to ensure all the reactants are removed so that I can get my pure salt. So how to do this? We must get the exact amount of HCl and NaOH. That's why we always need to use hemophthalate, which is the indicator into alkali. So it will always show blue color. Then we titrate it with acid. When neutralization successfully happen, both of them gone. So that's why we need to know when is the time exactly blue change to colorless. Then we can indicate the specific amount of acid need to add so that both of them use up. After we confirm the amount of acid to add, then we can repeat the experiment without indicator because we don't want indicator to pollute our salt. Then we add the accurate amount, we get the NaCl with H2O. Then we can do as usual, we just evaporate the water, we get NaCl and dry it between the filter paper, just like that. Okay, let's see the question. KOH react with an acid to produce KCl. So when we want to prepare NaK or NH4 salt, so we must use titration, which we use alkali react with an acid. To produce salt that have Cl, then the acid must be Cl, so it's HCl. Then the question says, name the dilute acid used, hydrochloric acid. You must write the name because the question asks for name. Then state the type of reaction taking place, so it's just neutralization. Next, name the experimental technique used when salts are made by reacting acid and alkali, is titration. Next question, dilute sulfuric acid neutralized with NaOH. At the end point, the flask contains sodium sulfate with dissolved indicator as an impurities, which means we must remove it. So describe how to prepare a pure sample of sodium sulfate. from the original solution of dilute sulfuric acid and NaOH of the same concentration. So first step, we repeat the experiment without using indicator for same volume. If we do not use this indicator, we remove the impurities caused by indicator. We use the same amount of acid, then acid and base will just nice to neutralize each other. We will get our salt with water. We just evaporate to saturation point. Then last we dry between filter paper. Just like that. Acid-base titration is described. 25 cm cube of alkali is put into the conical flask. To ensure that the volume is accurate, we must use pipette to count this. And then indicator is added to the flask. Then dilute acid is added to the aqueous alkali by using this, which is called burette. So the volume of acid is then recorded. Which use of apparatus is correct? That says the alkali must use pipette is correct. Aqueous alkali is using the line of conical flask, then it's very not accurate, so cannot. The volume of acid is measured using measuring cylinder or pipette is no. We must use this burette so that we can control the amount of acid. Next question. Aqueous ammonium sulfate is made. Okay, so this is also the special situation. Sodium, potassium, ammonium salt. We must use titration. So they say, how is solid ammonium crystal obtained from the resulting solution? So we need to evaporate it and crystallize. So answer is A. Okay, let's go for the last part of salt. We need to know two types of anhydrous and hydrated salt, which is copper sulfide. When copper sulfide, no water in it is white. When we add water, it's blue. When we add water, it will have 5H2O, 4 cobalt chloride. Without water, it's blue. Add water, it will become pink. The formula of it is it will have 6H2O next to it. So 6H2O is for chloride, which is a pink color. X is heated strongly. The color changed from blue to white. So blue and white is actually copper sulfate. White is anhydrous. Blue is the hydrated version. So it's C. Next, the question is about the first 30 elements in the periodic table. Name the element which anhydrous chloride turns pink. So this is cobalt chloride. Next, hydrated copper sulfate is colored compound which is blue. It exists at hydrated crystal which contain water molecules. State the term given to the water molecules present in it. So it is water of crystallization. Then next, state the color of hydrated copper sulfate. So it's just blue. Write the formula of hydrated copper sulfide. So it's CuSO4 dot. Remember, it's 5H2O. For cobalt chloride, it's 6H2O. Next, both copper and cobalt form colored compounds. Some of this compound contain water of crystallization. Define the term water of crystallization. Is the reverse question with the front. It's just a water molecule in hydrated crystal. They ask you to state the color and formula of cobalt chloride in hydrated version. So hydrated cobalt chloride is pink. So it's CoCl2, and hydrated, it has 6H2O. So see the color change seen when a few drops of water is added to anhydrous copper sulfide. So anhydrous copper sulfide initially it's white. After added water, it becomes blue. See how this color change can reverse. We just heating it so the water will remove, then it comes back to white color. Okay, so this is the end of the chapter. Thank you for listening to this video, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to your friends. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment here, and see you in the next class. Bye bye.